I actually got a little wiser this time. I forgot I had a fold up little computer table here where I can look at the TV screen and the phone at the same time, which is kind of neat. There we go. Let me just wait for this stupid thing to catch up because YouTube is just, I don't know what's going on with YouTube here. Come on. Freaking YouTube, man. This thing is trying to it's my computer. It's trying to force all these updates. And I don't want these updates. And it's derping my stream. What the hell? I did no such thing. No, you idiot. It's my VPN. That's what it is. My VPN just all of a sudden wants to run the show. Geez, let me just do a couple adjustments here, folks. Yeah, bear with me here just for a moment because, like I said, my computer is just doing whatever it wants. Yeah, that's what it is. It was the VPN I have. I never set it up to start automatically when I turn on my computer. You're not supposed to do that. You do that when I want you to. Anyway, folks, how you doing tonight? I hope you're all doing well. Happy Friday to all of you. It's 10 minutes to 7 o'clock my time here on the East Coast. And as I said, this is a Friday pasta stream. This is one of the most simplest pastas you can make, by the way. Skylar Tharp, what's going on? How you doing? Welcome aboard. And welcome everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Daniel Suarez, welcome aboard, my friend. How am I doing? I'm doing quite well. Thank you for asking. Actually, I'm doing really well, considering. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. If you're new to the channel, this is mostly a hobbyist channel. Like I talk about jerseys, sneakers, Transformers, baseball cards, things like that. And, I try to have a little fun here on the channel, especially this Friday. I figure, what the hell, let me do a live stream. So, what's my goal, says Daniel Suarez. My goal is just to have a good time, live a good life, no drama, no nonsense, no bullshit, no backstabbing, no none of that stuff. I like to have plenty of food, which is always a good thing. That's my goal. I always try to live the best. Also, shameless plug. If you're new to the channel, check out my eBay store. The link is in the chat right now, and it's also in the description box of this live stream where I'm selling baseball cards and various other items from time to time. Daniel Suarez says, I'm going to subscribe as a gift for a holiday. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. But yeah, I figure it's Friday. I was going to go out tonight. I didn't really feel like it. I've been having like an on and off headache all day. It's because stupid me yesterday, I actually added decorations to my patio for Christmas. and completely underdressed. So, I've been having on and off headaches as a result. Do I play tennis? No, I don't even watch tennis. I'm not a tennis fan. I'm more, obviously I'm wearing a Bayern Munich German soccer jersey. New York Mets fan, New York Yankees fan, Bayern Munich fan, New York Giants fan. My food looks good. That's actually easy to make. You get yourself, a 99-cent box of penne or any kind of pasta you like. And I get the medium-sized ragu sauce, but I tend to season it up a little bit with a little bit of Himalayan rock salt just to give it a little extra tang. Dirt cheap. You can get like 3 or 4 servings out of this. It's very cheap. You don't have to spend a ton of money on food or anything like that. I mean, recently I have started going out again to places, but today I was like, let me just sit home, make myself some home cooked food, and the hell with that. Oh, Mexicano, huh? Yeah, Mexican teams like Cruz Azul and Chivas and Club America, very familiar with those teams, as a football fan, as they would say in Mexico. So, but welcome. Oh, Guadalajara, there you go. Chivas man, huh? Yeah, I get all sorts of people now coming into the live streams from all over the planet, man, which is kind of cool. I actually had people saying that they were watching my live streams from prison, which is crazy. Well, I really don't follow Liga MX, but I do follow the Bundesliga in Bayern Munich. I mean, except for the one game that they lost recently against PSG. I mean, they've been really, really doing good, my guys, especially in the Bundesliga. It's a sure. What's going on? How you doing? Welcome to the chat, like always. So, yeah, I actually had people coming into the live stream saying that they were from prison. Like, I couldn't even believe that. But yeah, I've had people from England coming here, from Mexico, from Germany, from Austria, Australia, everywhere. So Daniel Suarez says, I have a question. Go ahead, shoot. And that's not beer, by the way. That's the unofficial drink of the channel, sugar-free Red Bull. But yeah, my apartment is so nice and cozy. Yeah, go ahead. Ask. What question do you got there, Daniel? Knock yourself out. Yep, Friday pasta. That's right. Friday pasta. Very simple. Esta comida está muy fácil. So, no se habla mucho español. Entiendo más, pero hablo poquito. I speak a little. So, para mañana, no sé, papito, no sé. I have no idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. That was something I found recently. I forgot I got this in school when I was a kid. This was a award that I won in school when I was a little kid, un joven, for Spanish. That's why a lot of my Hispanic friends are so surprised that, like, I know a few sentences and a few words here and there. So, I got that when I was a kid. I actually took Spanish in school too, because, in New York City, where I used to live, I had a lot of Hispanic friends and picked up a few words here and there, but I learned a lot of it in school too. So I tend to understand more than what I can say. So, entiendo más, pero no se habla mucho. I don't know how to say a lot. But anyway, yeah, I felt like sitting home. Let me go get a tissue for my mouth. Just one or two quick things for my regular viewers and subscribers and what have you. I just made a YouTube short not that long ago talking about the eBay store. I will be probably listing a handful of sports cards. There aren't going to be many that I'm going to list because, unfortunately, there are, for every card that I list or any item that I list, eBay is going to charge 35 cents because at this point I'm allowed or allotted 250 free slots to list over at eBay. But I've definitely exceeded that at this point, and eBay, unfortunately, is enforcing a 35-cent surcharge on top of the 13% they're already charging. So that really sucks for my customers, but unfortunately, that's the way it is. There's nothing I could do about that, but I'm going to try to make it worthwhile because there is some stuff I'm trying to offload at this point, and I remember doing the same kind of thing last year, but this year, like, I dug up all these He-Man action figures that I completely forgot that I had in a big box in my closet. And that doesn't include the cartoon collection, like I just reviewed Trapjaw, which is sitting right there on my shelf. But I ended up having retro collection action figures I completely forgot that I bought. And then I found these in my boxes. So a little spoiler alert for what's coming next, somewhere down the line. You know I have a backlog of stuff, but I didn't realize how deep that backlog was because I found reissue Ghostbusters action figures that I bought like 5 Christmases ago. I forgot that I even had these. When I opened up that big box in my closet, I was like, what the hell? I completely forgot that I had these. So my itchy fingers are dying to rip these open. So there's a little spoiler alert for you guys. I can't get the L out of my mouth today. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger trying to say the word cellular. It is a cellular number. And you call on your phone there. It's a cellular number to the gym. To the gym here. Come on. Jeez. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do with these. I'm not saying that they're bad action figures, but my intent was to start a collection of these guys, but then they released a cartoon collection, and now I'm stuck with these. I don't know if I'm going to sell them. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but there's a Man-at-Arms. There's that god-awful He-Man with that stupid head on it that they actually had to make a replacement head for this thing in a separate kit as a result. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with these. There are 6 of them. I got these 2. I got Tila. I got Evil Lynn. Right there. And then finally I got, this is so, there's Beastman, but the most ugliest, frightening, ugly looking thing I've ever seen in my life as a toy collector has to be this Skeletor. Look at that face. That's why they came out with new heads for He-Man and Skeletor, because they completely... Look at how bad they dropped the ball on this. Whoever sculpted these must have been drunk or on Xanax. This dude looks so geeked out on heroin. I mean, he's a mess. Look at him. Look at this thing. He's a mess, Skeletor. Oh my God. You know, I'm going to swing the camera around here, so bear with me here, folks. I don't know if you can see my shelf back there. I'm looking at the TV screen here. So I'm going to have to kind of coordinate with myself here. So all right, there you go. You can see just behind these boxes here, these are my sports cards. Yeah, you're not going to see unless I take my phone off the stand. But down there are all my cartoon collection action figures. Those are Transformers. Up until you get down to that shelf, those are the cartoon collection ones. And then I got my bus collection there of those Corgi buses. But yeah, I mean, once I found out they came out with the cartoon collection, I looked at these and I'm like, okay, what do I do with them now? So, and they've been sitting in that big box I had in my bedroom for quite some time. And now that I dug up those Ghostbusters, I'm definitely going to do reviews of them, hopefully before Christmas. We will see. We will see, my friends. I mean, I did look on eBay to see what they're going for. If I did sell them, they're going for like anywhere between 10 to 15 bucks, which is roughly retail on them guys anyway. But with the cartoon collection, it makes these obsolete, in my opinion, because these guys are just absolutely amazing. The cartoon collection. But anyway, Alexa, what's the current forecast?
Good evening, Walter. The current weather is 49 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies. Tonight, you can look for showers with a low of 47 degrees.
Yeah, it was relatively warm. The thermometer on my patio was saying it was about 60 degrees out today. So, but I don't know what it was today. I think it's just because I was crawling around outside trying to add more decorations to my patio that when I woke up this morning, I had this incredible headache. So, you know, I pretty much stood in bed for most of the day. You know, and I needed some ginger ale to settle my stomach because my stomach was a little iffy. You know, I had a little something to eat this morning for breakfast, and I'm like, you know what, I better get some ginger ale. So I bought 3 bottles of ginger ale and got the usual stuff. And took a nap, and then figured, you know what, let me live stream tonight for a little while, make myself some supper here. And then probably just lay back for the rest of the night. I don't think I'm going to do anything tonight. You know, again, for my eBay customers, I may list some cards, but unfortunately it's going to cost 35 cents per listing. And there are cards I definitely want to offload, you know, to keep this ride going, because I got 3 orders I printed out right there ready to go. I'll get them out tomorrow, hopefully, if the weather cooperates, but we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes, you know. And on a side note, for my regular viewers, if you've been watching, actually, it happened in a very bizarre way where the past couple days I've been trying to kind of like, and I got to watch what I say because I want to keep my my promise to a friend of mine, a couple people now, as a matter of fact, where I've been having porch invaders coming up to my patio looking for things and looking for beer and all that kind of stuff. And the very minute because I haven't seen anybody up here in the past couple days, I'll show you guys. I made these. This is one of 2 that I made. So that's my eBay store and this YouTube channel, right? So I literally, because I am a small business owner, I do have an official LLC here. You know, I can't keep stopping to make people happy, man. People have to live their own lives. And I've got to the point where I've listened to enough people on this side of the camera where I'm trying to really, you know, like bring the focus back on myself. I can't be babysitting 5 or 6 grown adults. I'll leave it at that. I can't say any more because it's nothing legal or anything like that. It's just I made a promise to a good friend of mine who's actually up here a couple nights ago. Not wanting to talk about certain things, but I put these up outside. I have this one, and I have another one that's on the corner around my patio over there because I can't be bothered. Like even when I try to go out and drop off my orders to the post office for my customers, immediately, can I get a car ride? Can I get this? Can I get that? And I'm making excuse after excuse after excuse because I'm kind of like tired of being, you know, um, a charity case. I can't do it no more. It's like taking care of 6 or 7 grown adults. I'm done. Like I'm finished, and I meant it, and I said it, and I meant it. And I had one of somebody I consider to be a trustworthy person, who's a really good person, fellow Mets fan. I'll leave it at that. And had a couple words. Very nice person. I really respect this person. It's not just this person. It's been 3 or 4 other people, and I'm sorry to be vague, but everybody's been saying it. That I run a small business, even with this YouTube channel. I got to be careful what I say. I got to be careful what I do. There's a bit more responsibility attached because if you are a business owner, it's going to make you a target for certain people. And because, you are doing your thing, unfortunately, people are going to come looking for you for stuff. And I finally had enough. And that's why I put signs up like this, because quite frankly, now it's right side up, I can't be bothered anymore. I really can't. And today was a good example of that, because the very minute that I sat down and I bought a 12 case of these from my local Walmart, I just sat down on my couch. And within 5 minutes of me keeping my door cracked open, anybody that knows me knows I love to leave my door open, at least for a little while, to get some fresh air in this place. Somebody walks right up to my door. I'm like, geez. That's because I've been keeping the door closed. I usually keep the blinds open, but usually if I'm home or if I'm sitting at my desk, my door is a telltale sign that I'm definitely here at home. Or if my blinds are open, or if the Christmas lights are on, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, Jesus, man, I really just don't want to be bothered with certain stuff anymore. And it's not that I'm being rude or I'm, cutting people. In a way, I am cutting people off, but I can't do it no more, man. I really can't. I'm not going to get myself into trouble for other people. I just can't do it. And a few people have told me this. It's like, when you go outside, we watch your videos, and you sound happy when you're talking about baseball cards, you're talking about toys, you're talking about your shirts. That's the guy we know, and that's the guy we want. You have a new responsibility on your hands. You're not just speaking for yourself and your business. You're speaking for a lot of people now around you. And I never considered that. Not even once did I even think about that, this channel, it's not just an eBay, part of the eBay YouTube thing. But I didn't realize like the kind of responsibility that comes with that now, and I'm still only a year and a half into this whole small business thing. I didn't think that there would be like that responsibility to be like a spokesperson, or I'm not really speaking for people, but you have to be a little bit more professional with things. That's why I took down a lot of the content here on the channel, and I thought about that a lot, where it's like, even the Christmas decorations I got outside reflects not on just me, but my eBay store, this channel, and a lot of people around me. And I never realized, it never dawned on me or occurred to me that it's like, wow, I'm actually carrying a little weight on my shoulders here. You know what I mean? I didn't think that people will really be watching this channel in that way. And I've had a couple people say, "Man, I just saw your most recent review. It's pretty funny. You remind me of my grandson, or you remind me of this or whatever." But you've got to be a little bit more, wary of things, because you have eyes that are watching you, and people have ears that are listening to you. And I never considered that with this channel, being a small business owner, that there's a little bit more to it than just me sitting here talking about jerseys or what have you. So I was not expecting that at all. I really was not expecting that. I've had several people tell me that already. And that's kind of like when I made the decision after hearing it again and again, to kind of worm my way around certain people, because I want things to go back to the way they were. I want things to be what they were. Unfortunately, I mean, I'll bring it up just for the sake of context, like what happened with my ex. It's a very sad time for me because I've talked about this on the channel with the death of my father. You know, with my buddy Wolf passing away, who was really misunderstood by a lot of people. You know, what my ex did to me, a lot of things I've had to deal with this year. It's been very unfortunate, you know, but at this point in time, like, I'm slowly getting back to my old self again, and slowly getting back to the guy that everybody knows. And, you know, having people tell me, yeah, I just saw your newest YouTube channel. It's pretty funny, man. Keep up the good work and all that kind of stuff. You know, it never dawned on me that now, slowly but surely, I'm becoming a brand. And my eBay store is becoming a brand. Everything I talk about is attached to one another. It's a symbiotic relationship. And if I have people that are interfering with that and putting in their bad mojo, it not only reflects on me, it reflects on all you guys, and it reflects on a lot of the good people that are around me. I never thought about that. That I've actually had to, like, look at this now and look at myself as something a little bit bigger than me. So, you know, and I appreciate the people that have been telling me these things, because I never, you know, listen, I'm a dirtbag at heart, man. You know, I grew up in construction. I grew up in a blue collar family. I'm not the corporate type. I'm not the preppy, you know, this thing. That's not me, you know. But now I've been doing this, you know, this June will be 2 years I've been doing this eBay stuff. And, you know, the channel has grown, you know, considerably well. And it never dawned on me that, you know, you have to have a bit more decorum. And I understand what decorum is. Like, I try to treat people with dignity or respect, unless we're watching a ball game or something. Then you can cuss and swear all you want. But, you know, I never thought that it's bigger than me at this point. It's something that I've never thought about or considered. And I appreciate certain people that have been telling me that, you know, and reminding me of that. Hey, man, you know, it's not just you now. You know, you're representing a lot of people now, and you're representing where you live, your friends, your family, you know, and you have to be a little bit more mindful and wary of that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm just kind of paraphrasing here and putting all these comments together from the multiple people I've heard it from already. I never thought of that before. So if you're all watching, you know who you are. I thank you for that. So, but anyway, my pasta is getting cold. But I never considered that. You know, a lot of my eBay customers come directly from YouTube. Others are just scrolling through eBay and looking for stuff. You know, and I never really considered, you know, the kind of responsibility that has, especially on camera. You know, listen, when you're born, you're not born with an instruction manual. You kind of have to learn as you go along. And I'm not a business guy. I grew up in construction. I mean, construction is a business in and of itself. But now that I'm in charge of my own little shindig that I run here at home, I never considered the responsibility behind it. That, you know, I'm not just representing myself, you know, especially where I live. I'm representing other people too. That, you know, I have a name and reputation to uphold. Excuse me, I got a mouthful of food. That's what I tell you. Don't talk with your mouth full. So there's a little bit more responsibility there than I ever considered, that I never realized. And it's cool when I go outside. Like I said, and quite a few people around here that are watching my stuff, and it's, you know, I have people, hey, I watch your Transformers video. You look like a little kid, you know, like that sort of thing. And I find it funny, you know, it's cool because it brings up conversation. I watched your sneaker videos. I watched this, I watched that, and that's, you know, it's strange in its own way, because you know, I mean, I'm not afraid of the camera. Talking in public doesn't scare me. But when you're around so many people and they're like, hey man, good job with what you're doing, there is a bit of responsibility there I never considered before. This is something new for me. So I already knew doing this type of material on YouTube, doing jersey reviews and talking about baseball cards and stuff, you know, it's meant to be fun, but when it comes to certain topics and certain things, you have to be a little bit more responsible, which is something I never considered, being a small business. And one of my good friends that lives on the other side of the property here said it too, that, you are a brand. You're a brand name now, and you have to uphold that brand name, and protect it. And, unfortunately, there are a couple of vultures flying around. And even today, when I sat down to go get my Red Bulls and my ginger ale before I cooked, not even 5 minutes after me sitting down already, I had a knock on the door. I'm like, I can't do it no more. That's why I made signs like this. This is an indirect way of saying, stay back. I hate to do it, but I need things to go back to the way they were. There's already a lot going on with this Christmas, not having my dad here for the first time. I got through Thanksgiving pretty well, but Christmas is a little bit more emotional. I guess that's what prompted me to add more decorations to my patio. I mean, I really didn't do a lot of crazy stuff yesterday, but I got my dad in the back of my mind. I got this picture of my sister and my brother-in-law and her kids, and I got my niece in the back of my brain, also hoping that she gets through everything that she's going through right now. My brother and my sister-in-law going through a lot. And it doesn't pay to be on camera constantly, like talking about like all this negative stuff where it's like, rah, rah, rah. I watch people go crazy on camera and all that stuff. But thanks to some really, really good people, that have been really giving me some really good advice to kind of like, you represent your business, you represent yourself, obviously, but you're becoming bigger than just yourself. A lot of people watch your stuff and they have a good time watching it. And I'm no Asmongold or Moist Critical or anything like that. I'm not even trying to compare myself to them guys. Them guys are massive, but here I am, little old me, not realizing that. Yeah, I mean, people are like really, really like focused in on the reviews, and when I'm talking about baseball cards, I'm talking about jerseys, that sort of thing. That like, yeah, you're a brand now, and you have to have a certain decorum now. That you make yourself look good, you make your business look good, and it makes everybody around you look good. It makes where you live look good. Like I'm like, oh jeez, when people are hammering you with all this stuff, I was instantly taken by that because I've never had people tell me that before. Again, I came into this. I don't know anything about business. I didn't go to school for business. I did a 5-year apprenticeship in construction. I mean, I did a separate OSHA 30 safety class just to further my education with certain things because it still interests me when it comes to job safety and stuff, especially running a business out of my home that I paid all the, licensing fees and taxes for and all that. It just furthers my ability to protect my home. Excuse me, protect my assets and all that kind of stuff. Well, I mean, I don't really have a lot, but I didn't realize like this thing has now become, even though I'm small potatoes, it's just a little bit bigger than I am. I never realized that. And if any of you are watching, thank you for that, reminding me of that. I never considered that before, that you have to kind of mature a little bit more. I mean, I'm almost 50 years old. I think I'm, mature as far as, physiology and all that kind of stuff is concerned. But I mean, maturing in a way where like, if you're going to be on camera, you know, try your best to kind of like mold and shape yourself into something that people can really respect and look at and listen to and enjoy, and not all this stuff that I always see on YouTube. That was big to me. I've now had probably about a half a dozen people tell me the same thing at this point. And that's why I said, maybe with certain things I should really distance myself and get away from certain stuff, be careful who I associate with, and, just stay in my lane. And again, not even 5 minutes after I sat down already, there was a knock on my door. It's because I left my door open. And I hate the fact that I can't even open up my own door without a porch invader coming up. And it sucks. I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm just saying that my lifestyle and the lifestyle that certain people choose are not compatible with me. And if they want to go down with the Titanic, no, thank you. That's not for me. That's not for me. Thanks to all that knowledge, I'm practically swallowing that. Thanks to the knowledge that my father poured into me, watching what he did for us. He sacrificed a lot when times got bad for us. And he did whatever he had to do. Ali says, hey, man, keep going. Your videos are awesome, man. Your channel is great. God bless you. Thank you very much for that. I really, really appreciate that. I'm going to throw some hearts in there because why not? Thank you for that. I really, really appreciate that. That means a lot. Yeah, I've really had to look at things from a broader perspective. As this channel grows, as my eBay store grows, as my reputation grows, and all of you who know what I went through with my ex and everything like that, there are going to be vicious, vile, disgusting people out there that would stop at nothing to try to cause me harm. And that kind of mindset is what people have been telling me behind the camera here. Like, you really got to be careful because as your reputation, I already have a reputation as it is. Again, with all that 9/11 stuff and whatnot, I'm past all that crap at this point. But it's always going to be a part of me. It'll come up in conversation once in a while, but I'm past it at this point. But it's always going to be a part of my life. But there's a different reputation now beginning to form. Whereas when I lived in New York, everything was 9/11 this, 9/11 that, rah, 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 because I was fighting for myself at that time. And now that fight is over, I'm, for a while I was left in limbo. And then, when I told my dad, when I came back here to this property, I told my dad, I'm like, listen, I'm going to take some of this money, roll it into my own business. I'm tired of it. I need something to do. And I told my dad, I don't want to, and I told him I didn't want to offend him. I don't want to end up like you did, losing your job in a union for all them years and having to clean toilets and clean bars and sell your things and go to parishes and churches and things like that just to get food and everything I've done since I started this LLC has been from bottom up, basically. And he was proud of that. But all this other stuff that I've been surrounded by, man, it's just bad mojo that I just don't need. And having listened to certain people, even here inside my apartment with a fellow Mets fan, I'll leave it at that, said the same thing. Certain things could be taken the wrong way. People may misunderstand what you're trying to say, or it could be misinterpreted. You got people that are watching that may think you're saying, the wrong thing and this and that. And I'm like, man, I never really thought of it like that. You're not representing just yourself now. You're representing a lot of people now. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh shit. It kind of scared me a little bit. Actually, and it's not, this person's not the first one to tell me this. I've heard it from multiple people telling me like, yeah, you got to be just a little bit more grounded and a little bit more. I mean, you want to have fun, like if I were to open up these guys, for example, and do my toy reviews. Yeah, you can have fun with that kind of stuff, but it's just a lot of other things. Like I've really got to consider certain topics and certain things in the way I present it. Because it's not just me now. It's not just the business. It's all of you that are buying things off of me. And you've trusted me with your money up until this point. And I think I've been as transparent as anybody can be with this eBay business. Man, I really take the time with my eBay customers, messaging them and all that. I mean, there's a couple of fraudulent idiots recently, again, that tried to claim they didn't get their cards. It was for 2 autographed Topps Chrome cards. I can't remember the names of the cards themselves, but yeah, they were trying to get over on me again. And that those two claims were dismissed by eBay because, well, I've got to learn a lot about doing this now and what to look for, what to detect and avoid. That goes on in my personal life too, where now I have to watch out, be careful, detect and avoid certain negative nonsense, and just go my own way and do my own thing. Stick close to the people that have a lot of good things to say, and the rest I just cannot. I can't do it. I can't do it. So there's that whole spiel, which I've been waiting to get off my chest for a couple of days, by the way. What it borders, let me finish chewing, sorry. What it borders on, it's essentially being a public figure. And with like any other public figure, yeah, I believe in the right to free speech, and I have certain political beliefs and religious beliefs, but at the end of the day, there has to be a little bit more responsibility attached to that. I never considered, like, owning this little LLC of mine, selling, as Sports Card Radio will put it, pictures of men, you know, that there would be a little bit more responsibility attached to that, I'm representing more than just myself. That was shocking to hear somebody tell me that. I never considered the broader picture of all of it. So, but I'm glad you, ladies and gentlemen, have been taking a ride with me. This year has been a bit of a challenge, but now things are finally getting back to where I want them. There's going to be porch invaders or patio invaders coming up, but again, I've learned subtle ways to say, I can't do it no more, folks. I'm sorry. I got to focus on me. And I got to focus on my customers, focus on the content, focus on the channel, focus on the bills, focus on this beautiful home I live in, focus on the electric bill, focus on my health, all that good stuff. And that's the way it has to be. Speech over. Back to pasta. But again, I hope you're all enjoying your Friday night. I just realized I got Turbo Man down here by my feet. It's turbo time. Come on. You got to eat your pasta, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to grow up to be like Turbo Man, you got to eat. Come on, eat your food here. You want to get the pump. The pump. You have to work out. Come on. Pump it up here. Look at me, because I eat good. I eat all my protein. I can fly here. Yeah. Fucking stupid. Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. I just watched that jingle all the way, as a matter of fact. Not that long after I did that review here on the channel with that Turbo Man. I don't know how I didn't review that thing last year. It was kind of fun. I've been immersing myself in Christmas movies and stuff like that. Like when I'm here at home doing my errands or cleaning the apartment or vacuuming or cooking or whatever, I'll have the Christmas music, playing in the background. I'll try to keep it a little bit more upbeat, because it has been, there was a little period of time where things were like a little depressing and morbid almost. But, looking at that photo of my father right there and one of his mask cards on my tree, I look at my niece and my nephew and my brother-in-law and my sister. It's times like now, like Christmas, really remind me of what's really important. I mean, you can only give of yourself so much, but after a while, sometimes you have to think of yourself. This is a very dog eat dog world, and right now I got to do what's best for me. I can't save everybody, man. I can't be everybody's Superman or superhero. Let me plug this in here quick, because I don't know what my battery's looking like, because I got my phone facing me. So, yeah, there have been a couple attempts now over the past couple days. Can you give me a car ride? Can you give me some beer? Can you do this? Can you do that? Sorry. Gotta love FC Bayern. Auf geht's FC Bayern. Unfortunately, I don't speak German, but I'm a big Bayern Munich fan. Been a Bayern Munich fan for a long time. So, but this season they've been doing good. They've been doing really good this season. I'm just looking at the chat. But willkommen. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't speak the language. But my family did originate from Germany, from Baden-Württemberg and Munich. I still have quite the Bayern Munich collection. I bought their Stadion collection Trihot from the German website. That's because the fans are always getting angry at the home jersey, that they want that jersey to be nothing but red and white. And they kind of got their wish this year, but look at the jersey they had. What was that? 2 seasons ago, it looked like Arsenal's jersey in reverse. Nah, didn't look good. Did not look good. But I'm very happy with my retro collection. I don't really go out of my way to buy the modern home jersey anymore. Like I focus more or less on the Champions League jersey, because I want to see Bayern Munich get that number 7 on their sleeve. But yeah, I got a couple Franz Beckenbauer's, Gerd Muller's, Lothar Matthäus jerseys. I have I think I have a Paul Breitner retro. So I've got quite the retro collection. The new jerseys, for whatever bizarre reason, after about 5 or 6 years of use, the numbers, like the Deutsche Telekom here, like it turns to like sticky goo or paste, and the jerseys get ruined over time. So I tend to wear the more old school retro jerseys. Like I have one of their Commodore retros from years ago. I have a couple of Bayern Munich. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a couple of Franz Beckenbauer, Gerd Muller. Oh, wake up, Walt. What am I trying to say here? I have a couple of Franz Beckenbauer New York Cosmos jerseys. That's what I meant to say. And then he went back to Germany, went to Hamburg, and then from Hamburg back to New York, and then from New York, I think he retired, and then became coach of the Nationalmannschaft back in the 90s and won a World Cup with those guys. If there is one jersey I would want to get this year, I love their Champions League jerseys. The European kits are always so nice. Their home kits lately have left a lot to be desired. I liked last year's home kit that they had, that real deep red. But the year before that, with that Arsenal red and white looking ugly thing, I didn't like that at all. What's this Wunderkind's name? Carl? This new kid, Carl. He has he's got Jamal Musiala's old number 42. Yeah, Carl is like, that young kid is doing really good for Bayern. Next to Harry Kane, and now what's his face came back from Canada. Sorry, folks, if I sound like I'm stuttering, like I have mental issues. I haven't eaten since breakfast, so I'm kind of like trying to talk to you guys and shovel down my food. But anyway, if you can't tell, I eat in a very military-like style. And nothing goes to waste. Yeah, Carl's been doing really good with Bayern Munich. So, and the Bundesliga season's almost over. You know, the winter break, I think, comes up, I think, tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, or the week before, or the Saturday before Christmas, I think, is when the winter break comes, when the Bundesliga stops. Then I think Bayern, they travel to, I don't know if it's Saudi Arabia, wherever they have that training camp. They'll go there, play a couple friendly games, and then come back, I think in what, late January, something like that, early February, I forget. for the winter break. Yeah, I still have quite the collection of Bayern Munich jerseys. A lot of them I got rid of because, like I said, the new jerseys, they just fall apart and they look ugly. Now I know it's tradition. They're home jerseys. See, like this one is the Champions League jersey. So you see how it's got Harry Kane up on top and then his number 9 on the bottom. I don't know why, after all these years, like Real Madrid does it, a lot of other clubs do it. I don't know why Bayern Munich doesn't sell the home version of their Champions League jersey. I know it has a lot to do with tradition, club over player. Like back in the days, you know, in Europe, you were not allowed to have advertising on your jerseys. But I think Bayern were one of the first teams to actually do that in the old European Cup. And then by 1974 in the Bundesliga, the old school Adidas kit, which I have 2 replicas of, by the way, that's when they started putting the big Adidas across their chest. So Ali 8529 is saying, I wish the New York Yankees could add the Yankees hat bat patch to the sleeve of their uniform. They do have them in the Yankees minor league uniforms, Well, you know why? Again, just like with Bayern Munich from Germany, there's certain traditional things that still hold true for the Yankees, except, which I have examples of, by the way, if you watch the channel. All right, so I got some examples. Now, before I ruin these jerseys, because I know my luck, and I'm done with my pasta, let's get all that tomato sauce away from me. I'm surprised I didn't get any tomato sauce on this Harry Kane jersey. I know my bad luck. But now I'm bringing out a handful of jerseys for all you fine folks out there. So let's get into some jersey talk. Why not? It's part of one of my many hobbies that I have, collecting jerseys. Even though I've slowed down considerably, it would take me a lot to buy a jersey these days. So anyway, let me just get into this here right quick. Let me do this. So I do have some examples of what I was talking about with Bayern Munich, and then we'll get into the New York Yankees. So back in the days when they used to have what was called the European Cup, which is now the Champions League, this is how the players would wear their European jerseys for Bayern Munich. Just a plain red and white jersey, or Treeholt, as they would say in German, with the Adidas trefoil on it. This is representing Gerd Müller with number 9 on the back. No advertising feces anywhere. But then in the Bundesliga, the same jersey, the exact same jersey would look like this when they started using advertising. Now, this particular jersey, I mean, I kind of screwed up when I transferred this number on. It has a bit of a crack on it. But there used to be a Bayern München marquee going across the back. I chemically peeled it and then put the proper number 5 on there for Beckenbauer. But it's essentially the same jersey. And then over time, they started doing this with their home and away jerseys. Not the Champions League jersey, but with the home and away, where they would put the marquee across the top. So it would be club over player. The club is number 1. That's basically why they do this in Germany. And that's probably the explanation as to why they don't sell the Champions League versions of their home jerseys today, because it's supposed to be club over player. You know, your club is number one over you. Now, like with the Yankees, which I have some examples here, this would be, well, let me show you my vintage. This is my vintage Rawlings Don Mattingly, Donnie baseball jersey, which, by the way, I'm still pissed that he's not in the Hall of Fame. I can't believe they snubbed him again. Jeez. What was that, 14 years in a row, 15 years in a row, something like that? But here's the vintage Don Mattingly jersey. You won't see anything. Now, this is not the player version, which would be super expensive. And the more rare jerseys, it's not the Rawlings jersey. These are rare in this size. But to find a Wilson version of this, good luck. But anyway, because this is a fan jersey, it's got the Rawlings on the sleeve. The Yankees would never put anything on the sleeve of their kits. Ever, ever, ever. This is a telltale sign that this is a fan replica, not an authentic player jersey. But unless they were honoring Mickey Mantle or something like that, then they would have the stripe going around the sleeve. Now, this is a Majestic replica. Same deal. Now, I chemically peeled off the Majestic from the sleeve just to make it look a little bit more authentic. The Majestic symbol would have been right there. Now, they did have Majestic jerseys, which I happen to have two of them, that are not player issued, but that are high-end replicas, like the authentic ones, like the Vapor jerseys that they use today, which I used to have the Anthony Volpe one that I sold off because Volpe's had a horrible year this year. But you look at the Majestic, which I also did a chemical peel to get that label off of there. But typically, you would never see anything on their sleeves except for this black band. And there's the Mickey Mantle, number 7. On the Mitchell and Ness version of this jersey, this is a little bit more authentic feeling, using almost the exact same soft materials as the authentic jersey we used, but that's the Mickey Mantle, number 7. But you would never see patches on the sleeves or advertising. That's only something new that they did over the past couple of years. It's just these players are getting too expensive. And they have no choice but to sell off, like on their helmets now. You look at the batting helmets have advertising on them now too, as a matter of fact, which is insane. Let me go grab some more Yankees jerseys. Come on. Okay. Don't care. My computer's really trying to update like crazy. So, all right. So I had one like this just for context. I have it next to my father's photo. Give me one moment here. If I could reach it and get behind the table here. Eek. Okay, got it. Now, my father had past tense one of these. So I did some work over at the new Yankee Stadium during the All-Star game when they were still demolishing the old stadium. So that's my ID card right there. I had a player issue Alex Rodriguez jersey, which is very similar to this one. Now, this is not a player issue. This is an authentic jersey, which is almost exactly like how they would have worn it back in 2008 when I was still in the field. But you can see the Majestic logo is stitched in and the patches are stitched on, as you can see right there. And then you look on the inside, there is no jock tag here or any kind of tag. That's because the player versions of these jerseys would have the sizes right there. Now, if it was an actual jersey off of A-Rod's back, there would be 2 or 3 more little tags down here where this size 48 is. And I actually had this jersey tailored because the player versions, like I had that, again, the Anthony Volpe jersey, they're extra long, and the reason for that is so that they can be tucked into their pants. So, I like that cha-ching. That's a good sound when I hear that. But anyway, this is very, very close to what A-Rod would have worn if this was like his jersey off his back. Unfortunately, it's not. So you can see there's like a little tag right here on the inside, but the inside tags, unfortunately, I had removed because again, I had this jersey tailored to fit me. You can see just a little bit of it left right there that got stitched in when she did that. I laughed at it. She's like, "Oh, you wanted to save tag?" I said, "I would have liked it, but listen, this woman did so much custom work on a lot of my jerseys over the years that I wouldn't even question what she did. But you know, if ever I wanted to resell this thing, that kind of sucks that tag's not there anymore. But basically, the player version would have a couple more little tags there on the jock, so you can see the size 48. And I say this to everybody: if you're going on eBay to buy jerseys, in particular football and American football and baseball jerseys, there's no size 44, there's no size 40, there's no size 56. There's only 44, 48, 52, and 56. That's a telltale sign that you're buying a fake jersey. They only go in even numbered patterns, especially with Mitchell and Ness jerseys. Just so you know. There's a Derek Jeter away jersey that I also had tailored. Again, that's a Majestic Authentic. And it's got the size tag right there. I've had to have it trimmed down. And I just got to say, the seamstress that did this, she actually removed the tag and moved it up and removed about 4 or 5 inches of material, because this jersey should be about this long. It's modeled directly after the player jersey. But again, I had it tailored, and she took the tag off and moved it up here so that this way at least it has that look and feel of the jersey the way it was prior to me having it altered. But 'tis what it is. So that's the only time you'll see patches on Yankees jerseys, and the only time you'll ever see anything stitched into their jersey like that Majestic symbol right there. The Yankees were very brutal with that kind of thing. It's only recently that they're allowed to grow beard and mustaches. Like back in the days with Don Mattingly, they weren't allowed to have mullets. Like Don Mattingly couldn't step foot on the field until he got rid of his mullet. If you're a true Yankees fan, you would know that. It's true. So these are the mid-range jerseys that I bought from Fanatics. And that's the new patch that they're using now, unfortunately, with the advertising feces on it, the star patch. There was actually one prior to this that I still have one I never used that says Star Insurance on it. But this is the name of the game these days, folks. Everything's got advertising feces on it. Here's the away jersey. So I'm going to have to go back and iron this on. You know what happens sometimes with some of these patches? Since this isn't a plastic patch like Sporting ID or what do they call it? Well, they used to call them Sensilia patches or something like that. Now they're Sporting ID or whatever the hell they call them. This is actually a fabric patch. So after a couple washes, they tend to peel. So I'm going to have to iron this on again or have it stitched. But Ali says, I used to have a 2009 World Series Authentic Majestic home jersey, and I sold it now. I regret it. LOL. I've been thinking about buying the same jersey again. I meant to say I had the Andy Pettitte. Yeah, be very careful. I'll tell you why. Hold on 1 minute. I'll explain something to you. Be careful again if you're buying on eBay. I have 3 different examples of this. Now, I forgot what the name of the company that reproduced this. Now, first, again, I'm going to show you the vintage Rawlings jersey with Donnie Baseball on the back. You can see the very faint stitching. The back of the jersey has the correct pattern. So one of my viewers recently mentioned what this pattern is. It looks like the letter A on the back. And the Yankees are one of only a handful of teams that actually maintains this pattern. Whereas other teams, they have the straight stitch that goes all the way down from the neck, all the way down to the inseam here. But true Yankees jerseys will have this pattern on them, especially on the away kits. Now that's the Rawlings jersey, the vintage one, right? Then we get into the Majestic Authentic, which again, you can see the stitching pattern on the back. You got the logo man, you got the logo man there. Has a very distinct pattern to it. Still maintains the pattern here by the armpits. Has very thin stitching on the numbers and on the letters. You look at the Nike jersey, they went back even further into their history and did away with the white stripes. Now, again, this is their mid-range jersey, but it harkens back to earlier Yankees jerseys, but it still maintains that pattern on the shoulders. Now, this jersey is a replica, if you want to say that. This is a Don Mattingly jersey, but if you look at the stitching very carefully, you're going to notice something is wrong. The stitching on here, there's a name for that stitch pattern. That's like this. It's like almost like a sine curve or a sine wave. It's too spacey and it's too thick as far as the stitching is concerned. So you have to watch out for that. Same goes for the numbers. I don't know if it's going to show on camera, but the stitching is a little thicker than what it should be. And one of the giveaways that this is a replica jersey is that you don't see, first off, there should be no blue tint on there, on this white jock tag. If it is an authentic jersey, it'll have that number on here, but it doesn't. You'll have a size tag on the inside like this. So just be careful with that. Be very careful with that. I learned those little details over time, even with soccer jerseys. I have a couple of bootlegs. That Majestic you just looked at was a bootleg. This one's a bootleg as well. No, not this one's a bootleg. One of the Bayern Munich jerseys, actually, no, that's not true. That's not true. Two of the jerseys I have, you know what, for context, let me break them out. So I have 3 examples of bootleg Bayern Munich jerseys that I bought, only because of what they represent. So this is right from their fan shop from Germany. This is real. These are not. Because, again, like I was saying, you see how they have the home jersey in the Champions League style with the name and the number, but there's no Bayern Munich on the back? First off, the hawk-eyed will notice that on this particular jersey, everything looks good. It's got the number 5 on there, which is correct. It's got the blue patch on there, which is correct. It's got the Danke, because this was during COVID. I think this is when they played against PSG, right? Yeah, it's PSG. No, it's Sporting. It's against Benfica. So, no, this was against PSG. What am I talking about? They played in Benfica, excuse me. So it's got the match details, but obviously it's got the wrong number 9 on there. The number 9 should look like this. That's what the number 9 should look like on the back. But because this is a knockoff, unfortunately they got the number 9 wrong, but it's close enough that only the Hawkeye would notice that. But me, being a jersey collector, I know these details because Bayern Munich never sells their Champions League jersey like this, ever. Not their home jersey. I have one from 2013 that's a knockoff. It's got the correct looking 4 patch on there. It's got the respect patch on there. It's got, you know, the Champions League ball positioned properly, because this ball is supposed to be turned a little bit more counterclockwise. Whoever made the jersey positioned the ball correctly, but they never did this. They've never sold a Bayern Munich jersey like this. That's how you know it's a knockoff. And you have to be careful because there are a lot of people that try to pass these off as being authentic player issues, but there are certain details with these jerseys that the jock tag, the cut like this, you could tell it's fake because the match details would never be stitched in like this. It would be heat transferred. And this is another bootleg that I bought. Now, this one really tried to pass itself off as an authentic Bayern jersey, but I know better. Number one, because of the patches, just like with those, they might have the correct look and feel, but these patches are fake. You can look inside and tell right away that just by looking at the Mia San Mia, it's a little crooked up on top. You may not notice that. But it's very close to an authentic looking jersey. The stitching is completely wrong on the inside. That's a giveaway. But it looks good, you know. I mean, the player jerseys like this, especially for Robert Lewandowski, are probably going for like $1,000 on eBay. I forgot what website I bought this on. I think they're still selling these. I think I got this for like $60. And I'm not promoting buying bootleg stuff. I don't want anybody to put words in my mouth. But the simple fact of the matter is that there are a lot of things that are wrong with this jersey, but you know it's bootleg when you see a Champions League jersey like this that has no Bayern Munich going across the top. They've never sold these jerseys like this. The only time you'll ever see anything like that, and I have an authentic one to show, is this one. Now, this is directly from their fan shop. So this is an authentic, well, authentic. It's still a fan replica. It's not the player issued jersey. There's a big difference in language there. But even on this particular jersey, it's got the Bayern München or Bayern Munich marquee on the back. It's got the trophy. Like, this is a special jersey straight from their fan shop. Now, you can tell it's not a player issue jersey because the details are stitched in. On this particular jersey, there were heat transferred rubber or plastic or whatever it is. I mean, it has the look and feel of their Champions League jersey, but it's not the player jersey, is what I'm trying to say. But it's like a rough amalgamation of what the Champions League jersey would look like. But it's got the Bayern, the FC Bayern across the back, because they always sell their home and away jerseys with this, no matter what it is. The only time they make exceptions, like recently, I think it was in 2014 after they won the Champions League, the Manuel Neuer Champions League goalkeeper kit was blank, that you can have it customized in the Champions League way. This year, they released a red short sleeve version of Manuel Neuer's jersey that you can have customized in the Champions League style. But the home and away jersey, they never go without that FC Bayern on the back. So, yeah, you got to be careful. Like, I had to teach myself all this stuff over all these years of collecting jerseys, that you have to be able to know real from fake. I mean, I know things are very expensive these days, and everybody wants to save a few bucks. Hey, again, I'm not supporting, counterfeiting or anything like that. I'm not encouraging it. But that Yankees jersey that you're looking at right there is a bootleg or a low-end replica. Because Majestic never made, as far as fan replicas are concerned, with this back on it, with that shape on the shoulders. They never did that. That I know for a fact. But anyway, okay. Yeah, Fanatics, honestly, Fanatics still has good stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I bought all of my Giants jerseys from Fanatics or NFL.com, which I believe is a subsidiary of Fanatics, or I think Fanatics is a subsidiary of Major League Baseball. All the websites are the same. MLB, NFL, Fanatics, they're all the same stuff. It's all the same stuff. They have one resource that they pull from. What happened here? But yeah, it's all the same stuff. All of it's the same stuff. But when it comes to certain jerseys, yeah, I do the same thing. I rather get them from the source. Unless I'm looking for a very specific jersey that they don't make at all and you'll never see, then I'll go out of my way and I'll find an alternative. But I like to keep things as authentic as possible. So what time is it? Wow. It's got to be at least an hour since I started streaming, right? Oh, it's only a half hour. Come on, I couldn't have been talking. No, it's not a half hour, is it? I'm just looking at the big screen here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, it's over an hour. I'm like, yeah, okay. So here's one thing that drives me nuts. It just popped up on the side of this live stream with Pete Alonso going to Baltimore. Edwin Diaz going to freaking LA. Ay, folks. Do I have any Yankees jackets? As a matter of fact, I do. Let me move my little table out of the way. It's the only Yankees jacket I have. And I would like to get another one. Not this exact one. Maybe I'll do a full review on this thing because this is one of my This is one of my favorite jackets to wear. Actually, I got stopped a lot because of this thing. So this is the new retro starter jacket that they would typically wear on the field. So as you can see, it's lined with, the shiny nylon material. So you can tell it's a retro replica when you see that directly from starter. You should see this tag on the inside. I forgot how much I paid for this. It really wasn't all, I mean, it was expensive, but it wasn't as expensive as you would think. And by the way, this thing is super warm. Whatever they did with this thing, oh my God, is this thing warm. But yeah, it's got the Yankee symbol there. It's got the old school starter symbol right there on the sleeve. Got the big Yankees in the back. Very classic looking jacket. Then you got the American League logo on the other sleeve. Very nice looking jacket. I love this jacket. I love to get a New York Mets one and a New York Giants one in starter. Starter always made good stuff, but I guess after a while it kind of lost its appeal. But yeah, starter jackets to this day are just amazing. You know, you have to really be old school to know what starter is. Like starter used to have those awesome NFL jackets with the hoods. You know, I'm still watching a New York Giants starter jacket, the old school puffy ones, but the Giants have sucked so bad this year. The last couple of years, I haven't really bothered to buy anything Giants-wise except for a couple jerseys. Actually, I have now, my third jersey up for sale over at my eBay store, the Daniel Jones Retro Giants jersey. Throwback one, that ugly blue and red one that looks like a hockey jersey or a rugby jersey. That's actually for sale over at my eBay store. One, because Jones doesn't play for them, and two, I bought it, wore it twice, never wore it again. So it's just sitting there. If I buy something and I don't wear it or I don't use it for a prolonged amount of time, most likely I end up selling it off and getting rid of it. But yeah, I love that Yankees jersey. I would love the Yankees jacket. I'd love to get another one like that. But I'd love to get an old school one that has the Yankees across the chest. But let me see here. Just give me a moment, folks. Actually, you know what? I've been thinking about getting me a New York Yankees vintage starter jacket from the 80s. They look clean. Yes. I do want to, like I said, the Bill Parcells type of New York Giants jacket. I would love to get one of them or two of them. I would love to get a New York Mets jacket. you got to be careful with them also, because sometimes with the vintage ones, not the new issues, the reissues like this, the vintage ones will sometimes have people's names written in them. Actually, I have an old school Cleveland Indians jersey. I bought this for my Rick Vaughn costume. Now, unfortunately, it's a little small on me. Let me just try it on off camera here quickly. I mean, it does fit, but it's very tight. So if you're gonna get one of these, get it one size larger, because 1980s starter, even Adidas, is smaller than today's fit. So that's the Cleveland Indians jacket that I bought, which unfortunately doesn't fit me anymore, which might end up on the eBay selling block. But this is a vintage one, a tried and true vintage one. You could tell. So you would have a tag right here, but the tag is worn off. And this is where you would find people writing stuff, writing their name and all that kind of thing over here. So that's usually a telltale sign. If you see somebody's name on the inside there, they probably wore it for Little League or, something like that. That's just how it was. But you can tell because of that this is the tried and true real deal right there, that tag. So, but if, like I said, if you can get them, like this should be here, you see, like this is a size extra large. That's an extra large, but that's a today's extra large. This is a 1980s extra large. And I only paid, I can't remember how much did I pay for this thing? I want to say I paid like $50, $40, $50, something like that. But this is what it should look like on the inside. Most of them anyway. I know they have different editions that don't have that starter on the sleeve, and there are actually authentic replicas, like Mitchell and Ness is a replica company that leave off the starter. I forgot what company reproduced the starter jacket, but there are quite a few of them out there that you got to watch out for. If you're looking for a starter jacket that's like true retro, true vintage, make sure it's got that on the sleeve and make sure it's got that tag on the inside. There may be a couple different variants of these, but that's something to keep an eye out for. Otherwise, the new reissues they got, not that bad. If you get them for cheap, I highly recommend them. And what I like about the new jackets is that they're not as stuffed and puffy as the old school ones are, because then you could build it up with like sweaters and hoodies and all that kind of stuff. So give me a moment here. What's this that I just noticed? Oh, never mind. I forgot about that. Okay. Anyway, folks, I think I'm going to end the live stream right here. I've been talking quite a bit, probably for like an hour and a half at this point. But thank you again for having this little sit down, this little chit chat and powwow. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you're all having a great Friday. Don't forget to check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in the chat right now. It's also in the description box of every video, short and live stream I do, including this one. So go check it out. You're helping a small business like mine. I really appreciate everybody that has done so already. I know there was a cha-ching during this live stream. I'm going to check it out, and hopefully it's something good. We'll see. But again, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. I really, really appreciate all of you guys and gals out there that have really helped this channel to grow and help me out with my eBay business. Friends, family, neighbors, everybody. God bless you all. Thank you so much. And many of you have been teaching me some valuable lessons about what it is to, have the responsibility of, not just speaking for myself, but the channel, my eBay store, and pretty much everybody around me. You know what I mean? I didn't think it would have that much value to it, So anyway, I'm going to swing the camera around here like I usually do if I'm pointing it at me so I can see what the hell I'm doing. I can tell I've been staring at the screen for too long. My eyes are actually starting to hurt again. It's because I'm supposed to be wearing these. Every one of my reading glasses protects my eyes from blue light, and I don't wear them. Anyway, folks, take care. God bless. Stay safe. I am your host, the Carolina Collector. Take care, everybody.